that you're calling me on video Skype.
So you can record the Skype?
Yes.
My video too? Wow, that's amazing.
I got your video, the whole 9 yards there.
A rarity.
Well, I know that you're going to cause a lot of issues because there's guys like Ian Clay who have probably been clamoring for video of Cotolo.
I love Ian. Ian's he's one of the greatest supporters alternative radio ever had. But I'm here to promote the documentary called, I forgot what it's called. Frank Cotolo. I don't know what it's called. But,
you don't even know what it's called. Well, you're doing a lot better than Ed Till. that fucking guy.
Better than Ed Till. His blood pressure must be like right through the roof.
He has caused some trouble over here on Talk Radio X. They finally sent him on his way.
He's gone?
Yeah, he's gone. I think the downward spiral started with you, my friend. It kind of went from there.
As usual, huh?
Well, he had the program director, Antibert, on his show, and he never allowed the guy to get a word in edgewise. And then he just kept saying, "Don't argue with me!" And it's like, you're not letting him to talk. He can't argue with you.
He may have mental health issues.
May have mental health issues. We've thought that.
You shouldn't laugh. He might have mental health issues.
He might be he might be a little loopy. The Dez. I have introduced the Dez into the Talk Radio X system. He has called a few of the shows. He has been on. He was on the live test show, which is Antibert's show on Talk Radio X, and they must have talked to him for about an hour. Radio Dan is somewhat fascinated by the Dez, so he's kind of a fan, but everybody else just can't stand this guy.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about him anymore. I think he's gotta do stuff in order to find out, where he's at too, because I don't think he has a good grasp on where he's at. But. He
did manage to find a guy that wanted to broadcast on that MyCast thing. He found some Republican guy, John Freeman or something, I don't know, and he's broadcasting on this MyCast Fast Blast nonsense.
I can't believe the Dez. That's the whole thing, I can't believe this stuff. It seems to me like he's just leaning towards that conservative thing because that's what goes on.
That's the hip popular thing, my man.
Yeah, like when he was talking about all he wanted to talk about was space beings and Area 51, and I mean. He just went with it. I wish he could find his own voice because I think he could actually be okay.
I think if he would focus on being a software developer, I think he could do some amazing stuff because he created all that crap over there. And I'm like, what are you messing around with this radio deal? Why'd you go be a software developer?
What does he do? Do you know?
I think honestly, he's on like some sort of disability, and so he just lives in maybe his brother's basement.
What would he be on disability?
I'm not sure.
Why would any of the audience listening right now, they don't even know what we're talking about. Why would they even be interested? Why are we having this private conversation?
Because there's people that are here on Talk Radio X that enjoy the Dez, and I don't know why.
Well, there's maybe that is a mystery man.
He is a mystery man, but let's get back to we were talking about old Ed Till. Ed has been fired by more radio stations in this country.
It wasn't just me.
Then he's been fired so many times by so many people. Wow. And it's so funny because he gets people on the air. I used to book guests for him, and these guest bookers would call up and they're like, "What is Ed's problem?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, he cut the guest off. He hung up on the guest.
Really?
He had a guest one time that I booked for him that she told him he was just a horrible, horrible man and hung up on him. And he called her back. and started yelling at her on his show. And I was like, what are you doing, you crazy asshole? I just...
Does he have some experience from radio or?
Yes, he worked in let me see if I can find his deal here. He worked on like WABC and some of these places.
Really?
I'm like, how are you doing this, you crazy, crazy man?
He's not. How old is he?
He was born in 1956.
Okay, so I got 6 years on him. So he has been around a while.
He was he started in the 80s. He hosted a conservative talk radio program on WPBR in Palm Beach, Florida. And then he went on to several other call letters. He was on WTKS in Orlando at one point. He was on broadcast.com for a little bit. And then he ended up, he was on, what is it, KLSX or whatever in Los Angeles. He was on a whole bunch of these stations, but he's had all these call letters, but he always gets fired. And everybody, and he's real proud about the fact that he's worked at all these stations. It's like, what?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about
I think
him.
part of his thing is that he was so, when he had you on his show, he was so damn jealous he couldn't see straight. Because when I had set you up to be booked on there, I said, you need to get Frank on. I said, this guy has done everything. I said, and he's been the head writer for Wolfman Jack. He's done this internet radio deal. The guy's a stand-up comedian. He does this vaudeville stuff. He's just amazing. And he's like, well, let's have him on. And then, like, a day before, he's like, I looked up this Frank Cotolo. He's pretty amazing. And I said, yeah. And then I know you get embarrassed when I talk about how great you are, but
and then he tries to get me in a political corner and he attacks me instead of saying. I mean, he could have said anything. He could have said, "Well, I think that's crazy, but that's what you do." Nothing. Instead, he started. I mean, I don't. You know me. I can take a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't leave that show. I mean, I wouldn't just walk off. Hey, Craig Coleman and I are decent friends on Facebook. Craig
Coleman's another guy I like.
on Facebook, we get along, we talk and stuff. And we screamed, but that was fun. But this guy was just.
Oh God, he was unhinged.
I mean, if he felt good, because he got me to leave, then okay, then I'm glad, then I'm happy for him. That's what he was trying to do.
That was the gimmick.
So I wasn't pulling any punches. He just didn't like what I had to say.
He just didn't like what you were saying. Well, the one thing that I find is so cool about you, and I don't think you're doing this on purpose, because you've never done this on purpose, no. But you seem to reinvent yourself every once in a while. I tune into the Cotolo Chronicles every Thursday night, or I get it on the podcast, and all of a sudden you've got this Jeremy Long and some of these guys, these young local guys who, from what I can tell, worship you like a living legend.
But
that's what I think is so cool, man.
I'll tell you what has happened to me in the past year or so, okay? It turns out that I don't really feel like I don't really have a lot of touch with people. My sons.
Yeah.
Who were young and everything, and I'm really. I started hanging out mostly because of Jeremy. Jeremy, his friends. There were girls, there were guys, there were everything. I started hanging out with this younger crowd, and I felt good about it because they were alive. People, and I've said this on my show. People my own age suck. I mean, they just
they suck.
They want to sit around and listen to classic rock, and then they're all happy because Fleetwood Mac gets back together. And I mean,
yes, they are back together, my friend.
They complain about this, and they watch talking heads on television, and in other words, they're very passive. And even at this age, I refuse to be passive. I don't even watch sports anymore. It's a waste of my frickin' time. I was talking to an old friend the other day, and he was saying, well, you used to like baseball. And I went, yeah, I know, but I can't invest time. Time is precious to me. So anyway, I started hanging out with these young kids, and suddenly I'm with people who seem to have goals, and they seem to, they got a future, is what I'm saying.
Well,
and wait,
yeah, go.
Then Phil Hong came down here.
Oh yeah, he drove. Did he drive or something?
And I didn't. When he told me that I was like the cornerstone of keeping them going, that I got all the traffic there, and that they were actually making a couple of bucks to keep the place going. And when I learned that I was like this important, foundation brick in this building for these young guys, I said, look, I don't. If you ever make a lot of money, sure, give me some, but I don't need it. And if I'm not important to you, I'll keep doing it. I don't have to do any of this stuff, And it made me feel good because I was actually doing something for young people. This is. This is their world now. Not my world anymore.
This is the thing, and this is what I've been saying for ever since you and I met, and that is that you have all this. You don't subscribe to any of your status that you've gotten over the years. But, and you get on here and you do this show, and it's just 2 hours, and you always say, I never prep, but I'm always prepared.
Never rehearse.
Never rehearse. That's it. And you do this fantastic show. You know all these people, and I just think it's so funny that all of a sudden you've got all these young guys. And I noticed, and I don't know, maybe you noticed this. I'm sure you probably did, but there for a while there was a lot of people, and I don't know how many people actually reached out to you and expressed this, but you would have all sorts of little health mishaps, and all of a sudden. There was a lot of people that were like, man, really concerned about Frank. He's not, who knows how long he's going to be around. And then you started getting in with this younger crowd, and you started doing all this stuff, and now all of a sudden you're going and doing stuff. You're performing places. You're out and about. And I'm like, holy crap.
I have been very healthy, and unless something's going on I don't know about, I'm in a good spot, and I also feel like, well, this could be, the last big sunrise. People.
Oh, yeah.
I've already buried I don't know how many friends, So, and who am I going to help? I'm not going to help the stupid people from my generation. They all suck anyway. I have some friends, and it's okay, and this, that, and the other thing. But they all want to retire from life or whatever it is they do. And I'm not there, so I want to be active, and I think youth is the that you got to go along with those because they're on the Hallelujah Trail, the youth they're going, they're along, and I learn from them too, so that's why these kids are popping
well,
up. I was out a couple of months ago or whatever it was, with a bunch of them because Jeremy, I went to see Jeremy perform. And a lot of his friends were there, and I know them all now, and so they, I'm talking to people who's like, there's one girl I had a grandmother who was like younger than me. But I said to them, how old do you think, what do you think is my age? What do you think? And someone went, oh my goodness, you got to be 48. And I said, I'm not right on the money. How do you like that? Now you can look it up, but they don't. And I'm going like, this is flattery to think that they only think I'm only, what am I, only 28 years older than you? Oh, God. So I'm 48 to them, and that's fine with me.
I just think it's fantastic because I know that just the stuff like when you were doing those videos on YouTube, those are some of the coolest things. Bill put some really cool stuff together.
I wish we could have done more, but maybe it's better we didn't. We did these
the videos, the podcast stuff that. The thing that I'm really glad that you got lined out was the podcast thing, because I know you were doing it with Podomatic there for a while, and then you stopped, And then all of a sudden it picked up again, and you got the artist D basically is doing it for you. And I'm like, finally somebody put some podcasts together for Frank.
Now D is also, been a friend of mine for a long time, and he's he's young. I mean,
oh yeah.
And I have I got involved with For Culture, the magazine, because I think this is I want to be there with all these young kids. I mean, nobody else my age is hanging around or doing anything for that. But I have an audience, and it's a big audience, and I'm appealing to these people, and that's great. That's what do you want? You want people who read what you write and listen to what you say, and I mean, but you can't ask for anything more than that.
It's amazing that you go from being Mars Cotolo on the Wolfman Jack radio show, and now all of a sudden, all these years, like decades later, you're.
Well, I was doing things back then.
You're Frank Cotolo, internet superstar.
You could thank the Waskowicz brothers for that.
Okay. Yes. What have those guys at ampcast.com been up to after that whole thing went south?
They're always involved in something that's going on that's revolutionary, digitally revolutionary. And once in a while, Chris is Jim, I'm going to have Jim on one of these days to talk about stuff that's going on. He's been on the show again after Ampcast. And you got to remember that when Ampcast went under, I stayed on this. They gave me their server for 2 years, I think. I just kept it going just for me. I mean, I've had this support from everywhere I turn. That is just, I don't know why I deserve it, but it's fine. And I went into this because, I felt like, there's something new to be done here, because I didn't want to do radio. I wasn't doing anything anymore. Nobody wanted me. It has been anyway.
Well, I think is great is that you and me and all these guys, and Des included, we're doing this internet radio thing. And finally, we've got all the big boys showing up, and they're trying to make some money, and they're trying to do some things, but the only guy I can see that's really doing a damn thing is Tom Likas, and that's just because he had all of his Southern California following. But everybody else is just, they're idiots, Stern wants to do a podcast every once in a while, and I think the reason he doesn't do a podcast is because he's afraid he's not able to get the numbers that he thinks he has now. And same thing with Limbaugh. I don't know. I think it's just crazy. Well, one thing I think is great about you is that you've done everything. We've done the podcasting, we've done the writing, and now all of a sudden you've got this. The Frank Cotolo soundboards are amazing. All the shit that you do is amazing. It's great.
Great stuff. It's like I like being the gypsy and the gypsy. I like being the Godfather, as he called me, the Godfather of Internet Talk Radio.
Well, you know what I think is so funny is when I had Michael Harrison from Talkers Magazine on the radio show about a year ago, and they have this thing called the Frontier 50, and I kept telling him, I said, you got the Frontier 50. First of all, I'm a little angry because I'm not on the list. Second, I'm a little angry because this list should be named after Frank Cotolo.
Who do they? What do you mean? Oh, the Frontier. These are the people who pioneered
radio. Yes.
Come on, I didn't even know that. Do I know any of these people?
Let me see if I can pull this list up here. It is quite amazing. Last year's, not really last year's list, but because I was on last year's list, so we can't bitch. But the year before is quite fun. Like for instance, Glenn Beck is the number one, on the Frontier 50 because he created the Blaze. Adam Carolla's on there at number 2 because he's got his little podcast thing. Then there's
what they've done is just ignored people who were here when it was internet radio before.
Yes.
The mainstream media came in. That's all they did.
Blog Talk Radio's on here.
We would have to be here. Well, who cares? In the long run.
Okay, who cares? Go.
Them, let them do what they want. In the long run, there's going to be people, and certainly, younger people. There's going to be people who know who was there in the beginning and stuff. So when they sit and talk and they have their seminars or their conventions or whatever they do, and I'm and I'm sitting in the other side of eternal darkness, they'll know. The names will come up. They'll know. They'll say, wait a second. Wait a second. What are you talking about, Glenn Beck? What are you talking? What about Cotolo? What about Cotolo? And then who knows? And boy, isn't that what I always wanted? Posthumous fame. I'm not looking for fame now. That's not the point. The point is just to stay active now and do stuff.
Well, and you are doing things, which is, I think, really cool. You've got your show that you do. You're writing things. Are you still doing the what the hell is it, the Johnny Wakeloose or whoever?
I do the Green Room.
Yes. I
do the Green Room before. Yes, I do that 1 hour show before we go on. And I do that because it gets numbers. And now, since they went to phones, since they went mobile, holy Christmas, we do great. And it's a local show. And I do it for them because they get to do their news and things and stuff, and it puts more programming, and it leads people into Chronicles. Everybody knows it's me. But and it's fine. I don't, it's no skin off my behind. That's easy for me. So, but I do it for them. I don't need to do a music show. Give me a break. I don't need to be a disc jockey.
I think it's funny that you started. God, what was that? What was the station you did a drive time live.
That ridiculous place, yeah.
And you did this. It was an afternoon drive time radio show for internet radio.
Yes.
And it was the coolest thing because everybody was like, well, there's time zones. And you're like, yeah? Well, it's an afternoon show here. It's a morning show there. It doesn't matter.
Didn't matter. In fact, I remember.
And now people do that all the time, and they think it's super cool. And I'm like, Cotolo was doing this crap, and like.
My young son was, I don't know what he was. Was he 6 or 5? I mean,
he might have been.
Something like I had him he did the traffic and the weather.
And what's funny is that since it's an internet
on Venus, and he used to do weather on other planets.
That's right, because it's an internet radio show, so you just do weather wherever.
It was great. It was satire, and I only play. I only played independent music, but who cares? No one cared. I don't think. And there was a chat room, and that's the problem we got into. Was I was supposed to. I was whatever that guy's name. I forgot that guy's name. What's his name? Something.
I don't even know what the hell that was. I don't even remember what the hell that was.
You've got to use the chat room, and you have to interact with the chat people. And I said, I know.
You know what's great about that? It's Captain Segway strikes again. What the hell happened? I'm hearing myself. I'm hearing you. What the hell's going on here?
No, here.
Am I coming through on you? What the hell?
I don't know.
Hell happened.
I hear you fine.
I know. I'm hearing me back and forth. I'm hearing all sorts of crap. Let me do this. Let me hang up with you and call you right back. Hold on. Let's try this. We're going to call him right back. We're going to video call his ass. I like the video call. That I think is fun. There we go.
Better?
A little bit better.
Hey, look, now the picture's big. Now it's small again.
Well, okay. So you have you said something about you have a chat room, or you had a chat room. What I think is great is that we have a chat room right now at talkradiox.com, and we have Antibert in there. We have GG Girl. We have, of course, Psycho Rabbit and Spook Central are in there.
And and they're listening? So
they are listening to you, and I'm supposed to, if I had a sparkle sound effect, I would do that for all the women in the chat room. They like that for some reason over here at Talk Radio X. I don't know.
So we're gonna talk to the audience?
I guess if they have questions, they can ask. Someone said that you sound awful familiar.
Well, it's me.
Well, it's me.
Who is it? Where do you live? Where have you been? What can you say? I don't know. Where have you been? What did you do? Maybe I know you. Possible.
Why do you keep doing the show on Thursdays? Is there a particular reason? I know back in the day you had this big convoluted explanation about, well, that's the big TV night and must see TV and all that. But
it's a hot media time. Thursday nights, and that's why they put. Remember when they put the football crap on again, they went to Thursday. They didn't go to. But anyway, why? Because that's where I started, and that's how everybody knows me. And I'm at this point, why change? Why change it? It's what I do on Thursday nights. I don't know what the hell else to do anyway.
How have you embraced? What I know I see you on Facebook all the time, and I see you every once in a while on Twitter.
I'm around.
Do you have any use for this crap?
Well, let me tell you something, because people ask me about the social stuff, and just like everything else, okay, we were, we went to MySpace. We all date back before Facebook, and
yes,
I was, and when I was on MySpace, somebody told me you better go to Facebook. This girl I knew said, "Why don't you go over to Facebook since you're looking to go on all these other places?" And I did. I was doing my own kind of promoting, and I was using social networking for that to promote the show, little books I sold or anything I did at that time, music too. So I joined I'm still on sites I don't even know. I never go to anymore because nobody goes there. But that's why. And Twitter, of course, I found out about the first couple of months when Kurt Brando was on the show and introduced everyone to Twitter on my show. So, and then I didn't have a lot of use for it, but because I do other work also, I got into it. But so no, I don't. I just all I do. I don't do things like other people. I don't post. I don't Instagram my breakfast. So here's what I had, scrumptious, and I don't say things. I don't put I don't just put up something. Look, it's just another theater for me.
Yes.
I walk in and out of these theaters, and that's what I do. And that's why when you're on Facebook, if you go to my picture albums. I don't think anybody has picture albums like that. Snuffy the dog isn't there. I got all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's all these are all theaters for me. I just find theaters and I perform in them.
Now, what is your view on the people watching other people do talk radio? Because obviously, we are doing this live for Talk Radio X, and hopefully this gets put into their replay, so it replays all day tomorrow. Wow. But I'm also video Skyping with you, so people will, at the end of this on YouTube, they'll see me talking to you. Uh-huh. And we'll put this up, and guys like Ed Till are starting to do the video Skypes. What's funny about this, and I was railing against this today, he gets on there, and he talks to people. You know how, like, way back in the day when people didn't have this video crap, they're just doing their show, and it's a theater of the mind type of deal, and you're like, well, you're going to have to fire that intern or get rid of that guy over there. And they're yelling at people that are in the room that you think are in the room. But with all this video crap, especially with me, I have 6 cameras. If I'm yelling at somebody, they better be on one of these cameras, because if not, I'm a crazy person. So what do you make of people? Because I know you've had people say, well, why don't you get on Ustream? And you're like, I have no use for that.
Yeah, because, well, first of all, it's radio, and you put a picture into it. It's not radio. It's a vision. It's a television. It's telly. See. It's not radio is audio, and radio should be audio. That's why I don't see it. What's the use watching me gesticulate and talk? What's the big deal?
Well, that's the thing.
One-on-one, yeah, we could talk or what have you. But why put it on there so everyone could watch my head?
That's right. Why do people care? Like when you did the comedy show where you had Jeremy Long and all them, I can see that because you guys, it would be fun watching you guys do comedy and a performance. But just you sitting there doing a show, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. So I just I thought about the Ustream thing because it was Ian, in fact, who said, "Hey, you should hook it up there," because And look, I don't like, I don't like to watch. I don't like to listen to Rush Limbaugh. And then you see him, and he's on, and he's talking, and I'm going, why? Why are people watching him talk? Think about that.
Why are people watching Glenn Beck and Alex Jones and all these guys?
Well, Glenn's, matter of self-importance is another story, but he's changing rapidly too. I think he's dying. He's going blind. Look, God knows what else is going on with him.
Well, he said one day he woke up and his arm couldn't move, and he had to sit there and wait a while. And I'm like, my God, he's just
under an awful
breaking
lot of pressure
down.
anyway, the guy.
Well, that too. He's got like security, I guess, with him all the time. See, like at one point, and I don't know why we even thought about this, but at one point, I had someone come up to me and they said, we ought to bring Glenn Beck in and do a speech. We ought to have him do a speech. We'd make millions. Glenn Beck and all this. So I started to check into it. Well, he requires a private plane.
Sure, the whole deal.
And his private plane requires him and his 8 security people. And they've got to check out the perimeter and all these things. And I'm like, oh, my God.
It has to have the room, and the room has to have the fruit basket. And
that's right. You've seen the rider.
I know that's, there's a rider on the thing, and if I don't show up or I get sick, you still pay. Give me half ahead of time. Make sure I got a car. I don't want a car. No, not that kind of car, this kind of car. Why aren't there 7 cases of Coca-Cola here? Whatever. Right?
It's like, why? Why are we doing this?
I wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it, except for the fact that he's got a radio affiliate here in Hutchinson, and it would be kind of cool, but that'd be about it.
Who's going to pay for it?
Well, see, that's the thing. We got to find somebody to pay for it, because I'm not going to pay for it. So, plus, I just wanted to do it so I could get a picture with Glenn Beck. That's really all it would be. But, so, out there in, are you in Pennsylvania still? Is that?
Yeah.
What is, tell me about some of the stuff that you're doing, because I know you're doing some performance things, and are you still doing the roasters, chicken thing, or whatever the heck that is?
Roasters. I do roasters. I do this show, and I've been a couple of other little stations have been seducing me, I should say, to try and do some other shows here and there and do some other things. But nothing's really come through with that because of time. I'm writing. I mean, aside from money writing, I do an awful lot of. I've tried to sell my books, and I keep writing stuff, and I might do more books, and I have a gigantic book that. Book publishers keep telling me is terrific, but it doesn't have vampires and kids in it, so I can't sell it.
It doesn't have vampires and kids in it.
Kid vampires and wizards, so they don't want to do it.
Demon wizards and dungeon masters. And
I have friends in Hollywood who are still trying to sell a script, but all in all, I have a lot of free time, and I have to make up things to do.
That's pretty much what's going on, I guess. Do you something that I've always wanted to ask you, and I don't know why, it's just because we get busy talking about other nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
All of your years with Wolfman Jack, do you still have contact with, like, isn't there like an online museum and different things?
Well, the guy who does Wolfman Jack what is it? Is it .org or whatever? The museum. Yeah, I actually have written some stuff that's on that website. So he's gotten in touch with me, and I shared some stuff with him over the years. We talk here and there. He's more in touch with what's left of the family than me. I have friends who, from the whole time, that are my friends. Lonnie Napier, who was really, who was like my, he was like the third stooge, me, him. So, we're in touch. And there's other people here and there who I know through or because of that, and I'm just in touch with them. But, there's not a lot of activity with people. Everybody has their own lives, and they're all doing what they're doing, and everybody's getting a little older. And people don't even travel anymore. I hardly get visitors. I live like the Unabomber here. And I'm starting to look like him too,
I see this, and folks will be able to see this up on YouTube. So,
I'm this before I groom, but I just decided to do this because what's the difference anymore? Look, I got nothing to prove, and what's going to ruin what's going to, when you're younger, you say things like, hey, don't do that because that'll come back and haunt you. Hey, don't do that because then if something comes up, they're going to find that out. And don't do. And it's like, well, when you get to be in my position where I'm not necessarily campaigning to do anything else, I don't know. It's like, so what, whatever I feel like doing, I do. I mean, I just live, I could, I could go into porn if I want, right?
You could go into porn.
Go into porn if I want, but anything that has work involved in it, I don't want to do. See, I only do things that are fun.
I just think that is so hilarious when you say that. If there's work involved, I don't want anything to do with it.
Anything to do with it. And, it just ruins it ruins my style. So I don't even practice when I do my live shows, and nobody knows what's going to happen. But you know what? That's also what keeps people coming back. We have a nice little group of people who know me. People stop me on the streets, and because of not just because of this show, but mostly because I play around live, and we want to come. We couldn't make it last time, or we want to come this time, or when do you? And they come because they know that I'm not going to sit there and go, hey, look at me, I can do Neil Young songs. That's not what goes on. We have a lot of fun, and we make everybody a part of it. So it's fun. Why you can't plan it?
You can't plan it. Well, there's a lot of people in this chat room here. A few people are asking something about how they're going to stab themselves in the eye. I don't know what's going on there.
Really? Am I annoying them?
Apparently. I could get the Dez on here, and then they'd really want to stab themselves in the eye.
Well, if they want to ask me anything, they can. If they want to stab themselves in the eye, it's a free country. I say go ahead.
It's a free country.
And if you're going to do that, maybe you should get on the video.
Well, Psycho Rabbit says something. I was asking him. We were talking about young Dez earlier, Mr. Pelt, and Psycho Rabbit says we enjoy the Dez like people enjoy Plan from Outer Space 9 or Plan 9 from Outer Space, whatever that crap sci-fi movie was. Ironically,
he's so bad, he's good, Dez. That's what they mean. He's so bad and cheesy and horrible, but he's funny and it's entertaining.
Okay.
I'm sure. I'm not speaking for him, but I bet you that's what he
so that's that. Didn't you do like a movie like you were in a movie for like 15 seconds in like the 70s?
Joke about having the Frank Cotolo Film Festival, which includes playing Meteor with Sean
Meteor,
Connery.
that was it. You were in Meteor.
Hold on. I'll show you something. Everyone can see it.
Uh-oh. What do we got?
No, it's up there. You can't see it because of that. Anyway, I have a frame from the couple of minutes that I'm in. I had 30 seconds. Anyway, Meteor. I was in Meteor, and I was in a movie called Motel Hell with Rory Calhoun.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great movie, and it's a classic, and a cult classic. And there's other things like my father was in The Godfather, in the crowd in The Godfather. My father.
That's kind of cool.
Is in, but that's movies, and I've done some television. I actually been on here and there, but nothing where you'd stop and go, that's Frank Cotolo.
Well, apparently someone, Spook Central in our chat room at talkradiox.com says, I shall call my book The Pedophiler. It's about a 1,000-year-old vampire girl and her love if a elementary school student. It's cool, though, because the vampire looks like she's a middle school student. So
that's great, except he'll never write that book. So what is he saying? He's just making a joke.
Apparently.
Yeah, write the book. Go ahead.
Write the book. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. You never know. They make fun of these things, and you never know. It might sell.
Now, you do the books, you do the writing, you do the radio shows. Now, you were saying something earlier that people have approached you about doing other radio projects.
Yeah. Well, I was involved when I was involved with Raw.
Yeah.
The Edge and stuff. And with Rick and Chris Malpass, who does his show on, I think it's Monday nights, midnight till, what's it called? 2 minutes to midnight or whatever?
Yes, 2 minutes to midnight over there on Final Frontier Radio.
Him and I, or him and me, I don't know how to say this. We were trying to put together a little kind of weird show and which we still may do on Tuesday nights through the Edge, through that station. But we talked about that. That went into the talking stage. And someone from in the old Amcast days I recently talked to wants to know if I want to do something on Cygnus Radio. But I have a problem. The problem
is that Adam Kittle?
No, not Adam. No. Good old Adam. No, Tony.
Ah.
But anyway, but I don't know. I gotta be able to do something if I do it, and I don't just want to get on and do music or do. I mean, what do I do? For what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. For what?
Well.
So I don't know. So there's talk of that stuff, and I don't know what if anything else comes up. I might do something, but that's it.
I know at one point, Antibert had asked me. He had heard your show, Antibert from Talk Radio X.
Oh, Antibert. Okay.
He asked me if you would be. He was like, "We need to get Cotolo over on Talk Radio X. We got to get him over here." And I said, "Well, he does a show on Thursday." And he goes, "Well, yeah, but would he do it 5 nights a week?" And I said, "I doubt it."
And it's not like I couldn't.
No, I think it'd be a blast if you did like an hour.
My life over, Even though I have a lot of free time, I like to do with it what I want. If I want to, I suddenly want to leave and go to the racetrack, or if I just want to, I get in my car and go downtown or go some places where I have, a friend here and there. I go, 5 nights a week. That means you're stuck.
Yes.
Doing radio.
Yes.
And what would I do?
Well, that too. What would you do? They do get some callers on here. Like every once in a while, we've had Psycho Rabbit, I believe, one time called in when Dez was on Dan's show, I believe, the Radio Dan show, and he asked him what kind of cheese he liked. But you'd get those kind of calls.
Now, what about the next night?
Exactly.
Well, it's Tuesday. It would be just like I do that routine about the guys who did talk radio but never had. They so depended on calls that they don't know what to do if nobody calls in these little markets. That's what it would be like. Well, here we are again, waiting for someone to call. Skype me. And I'm here at Talk Radio X. It's 10 minutes to midnight. I don't know what it's like where you are sitting right now, but it's dark here and there's some fog. It's 33 degrees. Oh, we have a call. No, not yet. Well, you can get me at Skype. He's like, what? What am I doing? What am I talking? Well, hey, how about that? How about those NFL playoffs? Now, did you see all those teams? Yeah, they were running around, hitting each other in the head, and they'll all have concussions later, but... All right, we got calls here. Skype, call me, and then then what happens? Then somebody you punch the button. Somebody calls up, and it's and he's got, you don't know his name because nobody puts their names. Still, this is stuff we were talking about. When this whole crap started.
Yes.
So somebody's got a tag, like a Psycho Rabbit or whatever it is. What's your name? My name's Clubfoot Pegasus. What do you want, Clubfoot? Nothing. Fuck you. And then you get
Clubfoot.
You suck. And then they go away.
I always liked it when I was on Alternicast, when I was with Dez and Tyler Hollywood, I believe, was over there at one point. And my show got so popular that people would call in just to plug their websites and their projects.
Sure.
And I had a guy one time call in, and he's like, get on our website at WrestleZone.com. And he'd hang up. And then he'd call back in, and he goes, WrestleZone.com. And I told him at one point, I said, here's the deal. I said, you can call in and plug whatever you want. You don't have to go really fast. So then we started doing all sorts of things where people would call in and plug their things, and it was a psycho circus. But Alternicast went away, and now we have what we have, which apparently is just tune in. Apparently there's a
well, it says, and let's ask people a question, things in the chat. Who's in the chat room?
We've got let's see, Antibert, Gigi Girl, Psycho Rabbit, Spook Central.
Gigi Girl, where's Gigi Girl? Where are you located?
Where is Gigi Girl located on this?
They can't call in. This is talk radio.
She could call in. We've got 10 minutes. She said she misses Dan's creepy laugh and assholiness is lovely.
Dan? Oh, the guy who should be on now?
Yes.
So he's only on for an hour?
Apparently he's only on for an hour, and somebody said that they should pester Antibert to let some single night shows go on Friday. Because Maine folks don't broadcast on Friday anyhow. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to lure you over to Talk Radio X to do a show on a Friday.
Oh. Last night my son does a show at does a horse racing show from SRN on Friday nights. So I couldn't do it anyway.
Really? That's pretty cool.
North American Harness Racing Company does it with a guy named Garnett, who's a horse guy up in Canada, and they do a North American. They do a show
so
on Friday
they
nights.
just broadcast live from the Frank Cotolo studio.
Right into good old SRN, and they.
I was going to say the Frank Cotolo Memorial Studio, but
Memorial. Thank you.
You're still with us, McKay. He's not dead yet. It's kind of like that newscaster.
I'm dying on this show, though, huh?
It's kind of like that newscaster goes, "He's not dead yet." Okay, well.
So here we are again together doing this stuff for how
doing
many years?
Doing these shenanigans.
Who goes on after you?
Apparently, it goes into a replay of the live test show with Antibert. But Antibert is not here, so it will be the live test show, I believe, with Tar Heel.
Antibert
Johnson.
Oh, okay.
That's his gimmick.
So that's going to go right into nobody listens mode. Is that it?
Pretty much.
Why don't they just go off? Why, just in case anybody turns us on, we better be on.
We better be on and be ready to go.
And for all I know, I'm talking at my ass anyway. I don't know. Maybe Talk Radio X has a lot of followers and listeners. I don't know.
They do have a lot of people. A couple of their hosts made it under the Frontier 50. So.
Oh, wow, that's.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's big stuff.
You got your satchel there hanging in the background.
I'm not going anywhere tonight. I'll be here. I'm here at my office doing my. Anybody wants to Skype me, they can, and I may not answer. I should say that. I'll be here. Although I could go to what? I could go to Random Chat and show my ass for the next hour.
That's right. You could go over to Snapchat or whatever the hell it's called.
What's it? Ass Chat.
Where you display the images and they disappear within 30 seconds. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Well, I do want to thank you for the compliment that you gave me today on my suit. I thought that was nice. At least you didn't point out the fact that I had the shoes on.
Well, I didn't look at I was distracted. The suit was so good I didn't care what you had on your feet. And that's okay. And you know that I wouldn't give you the time of day if I didn't respect what you do and have a lot of. I make a lot of fun of you, but why not?
There you go.
You know, I mean, because you're the Jigs. You're Jiggy Jaguar. You're a Jiggy Jaguar, which nobody even knows what is a Jiggy Jaguar, but you're it, and you should be on Wikipedia. It should be the Jiggy Jaguar.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, every Sunday I use your. By the way, we're speaking with Frank Cotolo from Cotolo Chronicles, Thursday nights, 9 p.m. on
148.ca/listen.
That's right. He's over there doing the damn thing on a fabulous Thursday, and I use your catchphrases constantly. I beat them into the dirt. I use the blowfish in a twine factory, squirrel out of a palm tree. Then, of course, there's always the ones that people have created, like he's like a grilled cheese in a Cadillac, stylish but yet classy. There's all sorts of odd things.
And I'm a good clotter.
I'm a good clotter, exactly. Clancy's nuts.
Clancy's nuts. Right?
Clancy's nuts is a good one.
In any event, in all events, and especially in this event, thank you for having me on this evening.
That's right.
It's a surprise. I'm sure, if we were really sharp, we would have immediately went to Twitter. Hey, quick, come on over, tweet, look who's here. But we didn't. We just, we're old school.
Now, something else that I modified one of your catchphrases. One of them that you have is
Ooh, neo-postmodernism. That's good. Modify it.
There. Oh, okay. Well, good because you do the dollars to donuts, and I hope you brought the donuts.
Yeah.
Well, I've changed it to I've added to it actually. It's whatever. How do I set this up?
I'll bet you dollars to donuts, and you bring the donuts is the phrase. What do you say?
It's always I dollars
You
to
said
donuts, and I go dollars to donuts, and I hope, and then I name someone in the room. That person dropped the donuts because we're gonna get it going.
There you go.
And I always add because we're gonna get it going, and I'm like, what is it for this event and any event and all events?
In this event. No, what is it for this event?
I don't know.
I don't even know. It just comes out when it comes out. In any event, in all events, and certainly in this event. That's it.
That's it.
In any event, in all events, and certainly in this event.
You used a phrase, I believe, on either the blog or your Facebook a couple weeks ago about it wasn't a squirrel out of a palm tree. It was like a fox out of a palm tree or something. And I wanted to jump in so bad and go, "Don't you mean squirrel?"
I might have said something else. Hey,
else.
I'm just going with the flow. I don't know what's going to come out next. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what will happen next.
My old program director, Brother Ken in Salina at 92.7 The Zoo, his favorite used to always be ferret in a jello fight. That was his.
Good. I support making absurd similes. I support this. I think we're changing the world one simile at a time.
We've had let's say we had someone say a dog and a sander. We had someone say a tarantula at a picnic.
Yeah, but that's like too. That's too. Tarantula at a picnic is too obvious.
Yeah.
I like them.
Then we had the rappers started getting into it, and some of them was like, it's going down like two hoes on a pimp in an elevator.
Okay. Well, that's okay, but that's real.
It's going down like the Titanic's violinists.
Yeah.
All sorts of odd things.
Yeah.
My favorite was it's going down like a horny lesbian, but usually when I said that, the bar usually closed shortly after. I don't know why, but
that's because of the bars you hang out.
It happened that way for whatever reason.
I make faces. Okay, kids. We'll see you Thursday night.
Hey,
Steve Olsher this Thursday night.
You making those faces, you're going to end up on the YouTube.
Steve Olsher on Cotolo Chronicles. He's going to be a guest.
Steve Olsher. I just think it's great.
What is your what? Is the name of his book. In Spanish, it's KS Usted K. So we'll be talking to him about his book and his translation and everything else.
Oh.
I hope he lasts the whole show.
Well, Frank, thanks for
welcome
entertaining me this evening. Thanks for being on. Thanks for hanging out. I've got the video I will put up and tag you on the old Facebook. And
it's going to be just everyone will be clamoring.
Everybody will be clamoring to watch us two clowns talk to each other.
Okay, see ya. Oh! Get out of here.
Oh!
So long. I'm just going to clean the place up a little now.
Hold on, I'm going to clean the place up a little
clean
now.
Up a little bit now. Okay?
Oh my God.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I am the audiences of the greatest audiences in the world. Good night.
Jesus. Well, Frank, thank you, sir. I will be in touch, and I'll be listening. What is it, Thursday nights, Cotolo Chronicles?
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Cotolo Chronicles.
Well, thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, man.
Later.
All right, brother. Later. That was fantastic. That was fantastic, kids. Frank Cotolo, and that's that. Thanks for watching, and peace on a mighty 5,000.